I get it, you're annoyed, that's my bad, but we keep on making videos about this guy because there's so much extra stuff that keeps on getting said that might go out there and indicate that everything could be coming to a close. Now, I'm making this video in a very precarious manner, because all this entire trade saga needs is one phone call for everything to change, and all of a sudden this video, boom, it's no longer relevant because Kane has gotten traded to the Dallas Stars or something. But for now, at the time of recording this audio, there is a lot of speculation that has popped up there in the past, let's say 4 or 5 hours. That all of a sudden now, I feel like there's enough material to reload that shotgun and fire it off once more, because we have ourselves some more updates on Patrick Kane, the New York Rangers, as well as the Vancouver Canucks. So, let's head over on to some of the tweets that we had seen from earlier today, starting out with this one from Chris Rumeliadis, talking about how Patrick Kane is on a maintenance day today, so he will not be practicing for the Blackhawks in San Jose. Okay, now we've seen a lot of guys get taken out of the lineup the past little while here for quote-unquote trade-related reasons, and we had another guy actually, Vitaly Kravtsov from the New York Rangers, who was taken out for quote-unquote roster management reasons. It was Kravtsov and Jake Leschyshyn both taken out of that New York lineup, and you know everybody knows what's going on here, right? They're going to get traded. Most likely. It's not because of roster management reasons that they're out, it's because of trade-related reasons, and I've seen this argument pop up a little bit the past little while that saying players are being held out because of trade-related reasons is a pretty bad look for the league, and while I definitely do understand where that's coming from, I sort of do understand at the same time why GMs are taking advantage of that, because hey, our players are going to get moved soon, we don't need to risk them getting injured, because if they do get injured, then all of a sudden, boom, that's no more trade, and we lose out on whatever assets we'd be able to get out of them. It now has occurred to me that the Vancouver Canucks have done that the past little while here with Luke Schenn. Right, he hasn't played this entire time because they're expecting him to get traded soon. But either way, this is a Twitter thread from Vince Mercogliano going over a lot of things that are really interesting to this Patrick Kane conversation. Good morning from DC. The Rangers will be practicing here at 1 p.m., but everyone will also closely be monitoring any trades, or transactions, I guess you could say. As mentioned yesterday, they need to make roster moves ASAP to get down to 21 players, or even 20, to make the cap space work for Patrick Kane. A couple of notes. Simply waiving or trading Kravtsov and Leschyshyn wouldn't give them enough cap space to make the trade today. They need to remove at least one of them ASAP, then allow time for more accrual. For that reason, any official Kane deal may have to wait for next week. Another key piece is finding a third team to take 25% of Kane's salary. The expectation is that they will, but that's an important step in the process. They'll have to flip an extra asset, think a mid-round draft pick, to make it happen. And the final point is the one that seals the deal. If anything has become clear in the last 24 to 48 hours, it's that Kane has pushed hard for the Rangers. I firmly believe the Rangers hadn't planned for both him and Tarasenko, but the belief is Kane's urging has dropped the trade price to a point where the Rangers felt it was too good to pass up. Okay, so the trade price for Patty Kane has seemingly lowered now because Kane himself is like, dude, I want to go to the Rangers. I want to be with my buddy Breadman. I want to play with Artemi Panarin and Vladimir Tarasenko, move Jimmy Vesey to the bottom six, and be a part of a big, bad super team of a forward core. Patrick Kane himself is apparently the one who's turning the gears here, and the New York Rangers are now in a position where they're like, hey, that actually looks good. Why not do it now? Oh my goodness, this is so crazy just thinking about how things are going down like this. But Patrick Kane himself kind of wanting this, manifesting the lower trade price, is wild to me. However, it does say here by Mercogliano that we probably won't see a Kane deal until the next week. Chris Johnson, on the other hand, says something else. We're still a week from the NHL trade deadline, but word is that the Patrick Kane situation will come to a head well before then. Expect a resolution in the next 24 hours or so. I'm told that Kane hasn't waived his no-move clause to facilitate a deal as of right now. Stay tuned. So even though Mercogliano says this probably won't be resolved for a while, Chris Johnson is saying, hey, within the next 24 hours, so we'll see where things go. This tweet was made about an hour and a half ago, so that's where that's coming from. And this is kind of why Vancouver is involved in this conversation as well. David Pagnotta said this: I wrote on Tuesday word about the Vancouver Canucks being willing to retain salary as a third-party facilitator. That was also talked about in the most prior video on the channel, if you hadn't seen that, by the way. Frank Seravalli noted this too yesterday. There's more talk today about the Vancouver Canucks doing that as well. I'm curious if they've entered the New York Rangers equation at all. And I get it, David Pagnotta has been kind of clowned the past few days because he was the one to actually break the the Orlov trade to Boston, but he got the return completely wrong. So the first time in a while that he actually does break something, he gets it all wrong, and a lot of people are clowning on him because of that. But either way, I get it. This isn't really all too much of a tidbit of information. It's just him pondering, but would it not be hilarious if Patty Kane was getting paid by the Vancouver Canucks? If Patty Kane was legitimately, even just for like a millisecond, a Vancouver Canuck in the soul. How wild would that be to be under this team and have the Sedins and Luongo and all this stuff with the history of the Vancouver Canucks, all of a sudden, boom, a decade later, after all those Stanley Cup playoff defeats at the hands of Patty Kane, after the 2011 overtime dagger by Alex Burrows with his name hanging in the Ring of Honor, the Vancouver Canucks get Patty Kane's contract and start paying him 25% of that deal. That's wild. Like, the Canucks going out there and capitalizing on what could be maybe the biggest trade this year, like, that sounds like a great idea to me. Of course, I know I just said the entire thing about Patty Kane being a Canuck, but that would just be funny. Like, nobody really cares anymore, right? It'd just be a funny, interesting trivia point that you put in a flashcard a decade from now. Oh, what team was Patty Kane sent to before sent to the Rangers? Oh, the Vancouver Canucks, so they retain salary. Like that, Like, I know David Pagnotta gets clowned here, but hey, guess what? I'm also curious as to whether or not the Canucks have entered the New York Rangers conversation for Patrick Kane and talked about that Kravtsov-Lysyshyn sort of thing where they've been held out of the lineup and now the Rangers are trying to make it work. Patty Kane has lowered the asking price himself because he wants to go to the Rangers. Everything can change with a phone call. He could go to Dallas, but based off of everything we've seen the past hour and a half, it's very apparent that Patrick Kane in New York seems to be the most likely destination out of them all. And Vancouver, if you've got yourselves an opportunity to step in there, get yourselves another mid-round pick. We just talked about it in the video a few hours ago. It's all about shots on goal in the draft. Doesn't matter that you only have fourths or fifths or sixths in these transactions. You're getting fourths or fifths or sixths. All you need is one of these guys to work out, and boom, you look like a genius. That's it. More shots on goal in the mid-rounds is a good thing, and the Vancouver Canucks, you have yourselves a great opportunity here. But, of course, I'm not going to go out there and tell Patrick Allvin what to do, because it's not like I've been doing that the entire season now, hasn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Patrick Kane lowering the trade price for New York because he wants to go there. Let me know your thoughts as well as to what else the Rangers need to do in order to get this done, and where you see the Vancouver Canucks placing themselves in this entire conversation, should you actually see that happening. I can totally understand if you don't see it happening, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Either way, all your thoughts and opinions. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.